There is something that must be, that I've got to say. It's a phenomenon of not necessarily stage fright, because when you're talking into a camera, you are the only person who is listening at the moment of recording. But what I found very frustrating is there are moments of pure inspiration that mind-boggling. I've had some incredible conversations with people who were ready to record a conversation, and we just do an intro talking, and the first 5 minutes I don't have a video going, we're just talking live but private, and it seems that spirit, the spirit of inspiration, whether you're singing, I do that too. No, none of you have ever heard me sing unless you are in treatment room with me and my music dies and I just start singing, because it's hard to work without music. I'm a massage therapist. But anyway, the other night I was in the kitchen. Not the other night. It was actually early morning. I'm so confused. The other morning, just this week, like 3 days ago, today is the first day of August, so it was the 28th or the 29th. And I was in the kitchen doing dishes, just cleaning the kitchen, and I was the only one in the whole house awake. It was like 6 a.m. And I started doing this Indian chant, mantra, oming thing. I've done it to my kids instead of singing words, just this. And it was beautiful, it was amazing, it was alive, it was inspired, it was so cool the other morning. And if I can ever get to a point where I'm actually recording and it happens, so be it. I love my voice. I think anybody that can actually carry a tune should sing as much as possible. But there was a book I read many years ago called Out of the Silent Planet. It was written by one of my favorite authors, Clive Staples Lewis. This is one of the books that he wrote geared for adults. And when I say adult, I don't mean risque, I mean higher intellectual material, fantasy-wise. And it was a space trilogy, and this was the first book in the series, and he was kidnapped. The main character was kidnapped by a scientist, a mad scientist, who thought that he was above certain laws. So he thought it was okay to abduct this man, because he had no relatives that were going to be watching for him to come back home. He was on vacation, walking in England. But anyway, he, in the story, he gets kidnapped and taken to the planet of Mars, where there were these divine spirit beings that, I guess they were called the Oyarsa in the language of the people on that planet. And they wanted to speak to one of the people from our planet, Earth, which was dubbed the Silent Planet because the people of the solar people of the entire universe have not been able to reach, to have communication with anyone on Earth, because some bent divine being came down and silenced everything. This is huge. That's off topic though. The part that I loved about this book was the people, or the living creatures of Malacandra, or Mars. They didn't write down any of their stories. And I'm actually kind of getting teary-eyed talking about this concept because it's so real and so deep. When you have oral tradition handed down, that's how our memories are kept alive. But I mean, like, alive, not like we remember them, but when we are told something that our ancestors did 5,000 years ago, and you know it was somebody in your family line and you know their name, there's something very real about that. And that's the kind of tradition that is handed down by the tribal Indians that lived in America before the British and the Europeans came and settled. But from the book that I'm telling you about, Out of the Silent Planet, these people did not write down their stories, not any of them. Books didn't exist. Except for the really enlightened beings. There was three different types of living creatures that could communicate and talk. I don't remember the names of them, but there was a more enlightened group. They were like the scientist types. They kept track of the stars, the activities in the heavens. But they had records. But all across the entire planet, they did not tell stories that were written down. They told the stories of something that had happened. And in their concept, once you took a story, a real story, because they didn't tell stories that were not true, because that was bent. They told stories verbally by music, like bards from the Celtic times. And their concept was once you put a story down on paper or in writing, you kill
Everybody
it.
finish their water besides me.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I'm videotaping. This is my lovely, lovely princess. Hi. Okay, get out of the car. I'm telling a story.
I love.
Oh, get out. Okay, sorry. So when I find a culture that has kept their oral traditions, their history alive, and they share what their elders have done, the stories of their elders, just, it stirs me in a way that is so deep I can't even put it into words. Because here in our society, I live in America, and I don't know if it's this way everywhere, and I'm sure there are pockets of people that really value words. Words are very important, but we use words so much that they're overused, and they don't have the power they were intended to have.